We offer customized, flexible nutritional counseling designed specifically for you. We work with diverse clientele of all different ages, different needs, and goals. Whether you are looking for fat loss, muscle gain, body composition shifts, improved health, performance, and endurance, we're here to help.
All right, Anabolic Academy with me, Uncle John, Big Danny Broadhurst, and IFBB Pro Doug Fruchey. And here's what a lot of people don't know yet, and I have to make it apparent. I have to tell everybody, you guys aren't just regular bodybuilders. What people don't know is that Danny is a literal disciple of Milos, and Doug is literally an apostle of Charles Glass. He studies under Charles Glass. Danny studies under Milos. So this is like the second coming for these guys. This is why I'm so smart, because instead of going after Milos, I go after to the disciples.
Well, thank you. I'm flattered from that. It's definitely a privilege to work with the people. I mean, I always said you never want to be the smartest guy in the room.
Yeah,
if you are, go find another room.
Yeah, it's the truth. But no, that is the that is on both of those guys. Charles Glass is probably, in my opinion, the greatest trainer in a gym that anybody has ever worked with, like in the gym. And then Milos is on the Mount Rushmore of fucking prep coaches. That just goes without saying.
Well, Milos in the gym is pretty damn good too, man. Milos in the gym is pretty damn good too.
Yeah, and I'm sure Charles is a good prep coach, but
no, that's not true at all.
No,
but that's okay.
Oh, really? Okay, all right.
All right. Charles farms out all of his diet work.
Oh, all right, good.
Yeah.
All right, so we got a bunch of questions. We'll just jump right into it. Let's see. The first one is from Alex Robles 707 on Instagram. Since you crashed,
one of my friends.
Oh, is that who it is? He said, since you crashed.
One of my clients too.
Oh, okay. Since you crash E2 on prep, does changing test esters really matter? First, I didn't know. Good.
Oh, sorry.
Good, Danny. I was always under the opinion that test is test.
I don't think it really matters that much. I mean, I was just talking to one of my friends. He's a IFBB pro. He competes in masters, and we were saying we think you can get ready and compete on pretty much any steroid and look good. As far as like at the pro level, at the max pro level, I think it really does matter. But to win like a national level show or a local level show, I don't think the test ester is going to make or break anything.
So I agree there. I mean, I think first, like Rich Piana always used to say, test is test is test. And, the only thing I would say is it just depends on the dude. Like I've seen some guys get super aromatized off of like 500 milligrams of vananthate a week. And it's like, well, yeah, you probably couldn't do the last 3 weeks of your show like that. But like me personally, I don't really aromatize that much anyway. So it just doesn't matter. I figure it's on a person by person basis. I mean, if it makes you look like shit, change it. If it makes you look good, probably keep it.
Yeah, I was under the same impression that testosterone is testosterone, but everybody's a little bit different. I know I react way better to sus than I would to SIP or enanthate. So anytime I did a cycle, I was always sus plus whatever. All right, so this is actually another question of a friend of mine. He actually sent me two questions. My friend Anthony. He said, if you're doing a 12 to 15 week cycle, should you do a PCT for a couple of weeks if you want to go right into a cycle right after that, or just continue a cycle with different compounds?
I mean, it depends what level you're at. It depends how long you've been competing, and I mean, yeah, you could stretch it out 24 weeks. It depends, like let's say you have a show, things get messed up and you're planning, and then there's a show that's coming up, so you have to extend your cycle. Sometimes you just have to extend it. But if you have the time to take a break, then that's that's always the best, I would say. But
Yeah.
I mean, 12 weeks is pretty short for a cycle. I don't think that's sufficient. So I would push the cycle more. If it
Okay.
were me, yeah, I like to do like 4-6 week cycles
And then change the compound right after
every
immediately?
6 weeks.
Okay. What about you, Doug?
I'm about the same. I think that one of the things people don't talk about is the cost it takes on your body to start and stop your own hormones as you go on and off. And I feel like, especially if depending on the density, shall we say, or the volume of the cycle, that obviously comes into play. But for the most part, like, for most normal gym guys, it's harder on your body to shut it all down when you start taking gear, and then come off, take a bunch of HCG and get it all back. When
Right.
really, I don't really think there's much of a benefit to that. So it just
Yeah,
depends. But yeah,
I wouldn't coming off. I just mean going down to like 100
yeah,
milligrams a week. I mean, right
yeah,
now I'm on less than that. I take like 100 milligrams a month, maybe,
Mhm.
because I broke my ankle. So
Right,
I
right,
try to
right,
go
right.
real low when I have like an injury or something. But otherwise, I would never do like a PCT kind of thing. But
yeah.
that's because we've been on it for a while, I think. I mean, if you're new, I think different.
Okay.
It
No?
just
Oh,
depends
does
on what
it?
kind of life you're gonna, where you are on this road and which direction you want to take it. I mean,
And
you
is age
know,
a factor? Because the reason why I say that is because I usually go by the way I feel, if that makes sense. So I don't use stuff all year round. I usually take a long break in the wintertime, and then I jump on in the springtime and stay throughout the summertime. And then I usually take, Labor Day through fucking, Christmas off, because I'm not competing or anything like that. But if I'm in the middle of a cycle and I feel my sex drive dipping after 10, 12, 14 weeks, I will jump on HCG and it seems to spike it back up again. And then I'll
Definitely
continue.
will.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
definitely.
could it be an age thing too? Because I'm 46.
I would
No,
say that,
I
but
think
I
this.
gotta go ahead, Danny. Go ahead.
I think that's normal. I mean, the sex
Yeah,
drive thing will stop, after you've been on test for like, yeah, about that long.
Okay. All
Yeah,
right.
and then you can't, but that doesn't mean it's not working.
Okay.
Your
Okay.
sex drive is gone.
Yeah,
So
really.
age,
Uh,
yeah. What were you saying, Doug?
I was just gonna say I would, age. I would, generally, I think a lot of people would assume age is kind of a factor, but it's really not. Like I got a client who's almost 60, never been on anything in his life, and his test is still at like 1,000 naturally.
that's my brother, my oldest
Yeah,
brother, right? He's 60 years. I'm 46. My oldest brother's 61, right? He went to go have his testosterone checked, and it was like at like 6 and change. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
My dad's is 70. He's 70 and his is 850.
yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just the way it is for some dudes. But you know what's conversely, my client, because of that, his estrogen is freaking through the roof and he's fat. And if he stops working out, he just gains a bunch of weight. So he still has to take Arimidex. Like, I think he takes like a half a milligram 3 times a week to
Yeah,
keep his
yeah.
shit in check
Wow.
because his test is that high. It's very interesting. But so, I always say the best answer is if you really want to know what's going on, go get your blood work done.
That was the
Just like,
next. That was actually the next
yeah.
question. Yeah.
Mm.
The next question was the second part. Same guy, my friend Anthony. He said, should you change test dosages or get your blood work done before changing test dosages? Like if you're on a cycle for 12 weeks, should you get your blood work done
And then raise it or
and
lower
then
it.
and then change it or lower it?
That I am if you really want to know what's going on in your body, that's the pretty much
Just
only way to do it.
okay. All right.
Yeah, I would always get blood work done on cycle. That way you can figure out what to try to fix.
Yeah.
Because if you get it done when you're off cycle, then you're not really figuring anything out. And
Right.
and you never want to get it done when you're on cycle by your actual doctor. That's a horrible idea. You want to go to like one of the websites,
The clinic.
like private MD labs. That's the one that I use. And they'll have different tests. They have a male anti-aging panel. It's like $180 and they do everything. They do complete metabolic panel, a complete blood count. They do your testosterone, they do your estrogen, they do your thyroid, I believe. They do your IGF. It's only like
So
100.
what do you do? Go to a lab and have them
Yeah,
send the blood
you go
there?
to either Quest or LabCorp. LabCorp is usually like $400, and
Right.
Quest is usually like 170. So you
Okay.
No,
all have
they'll
to
come to
say,
your house now. Even I order it to the house, and the lab
Really?
technician comes to the house.
how much
Yeah,
is that one?
I think altogether, because I go through lifeextension.com, and
Oh,
altogether, like you order the male hormone panel, I think it's like $180, and then I think it's like $200 to have LabCorp come. So altogether, it's
but
like a $400 thing.
does it have more than just your testosterone?
Yeah, it's a 72
Oh,
portion hormone panel. It's got
oh,
everything. So it checks your
that's awesome.
cholesterol, livers, kidneys, the
Got it.
AST, ALT, cholesterol, and the hormone. That's
Yeah,
really
that's great.
beneficial.
Yeah,
I'm glad we're doing this show once a week because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. And I
Mhm.
have friends that ask me all the time about blood work and so on and so forth. And I just go, well, for me, it's very easy. My doctor is a bodybuilder and I have good coverage, so I just go and he takes my blood work. He knows exactly what to look for and so on and so forth. But for guys who don't have that, this is really great stuff. And I'm glad we're
Plenty
doing
of
this.
companies out there though. Like, I mean, I'm glad we're talking about it too, because I'm getting ready to start working with that Transcendent HRT group. And that'll be able to do, you'll just be able to, I'll be able to refer people with a code to get their blood work done anywhere in the country.
That's
And then same
fantastic.
thing, just send it to LabCorp. So, I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
good that we're talking about it because we'll be able to really, it's important to just look, if you want to know, just take it. Go
Right.
figure it out.
Yeah.
and do not get it done when you're on a cycle through your doctor. Really.
Okay.
What happened? I'm curious. You seem like you say like you have some experience with that. I'm completely anti AMA. Like I very rarely go to the doctor at all. So I'm curious why you say that with such severity. Like don't go there.
It'll get on your chart.
Well, I mean,
It'll
it's not
get
like
on
they
your
can.
chart, and your chart it never goes off your chart. I
So
was completely honest with my
yeah,
doctor
but why does
when I
that
was.
matter? Like it's not like they can arrest you or
That's
you
true.
know.
Well, I mean, I think for insurance purposes, if
Ah,
they were for some reason and change insurance guidelines of coverage or what they can cover you, I think it may increase the rate at like if you've had cancer, I think I'm not sure if it's legal to do that or not, but I think they can raise your rates. You can have higher rates.
I mean, they
Depending
may.
what.
It sounds fairly legitimate that they could like deny liability because of that. That could
yeah.
go
Well,
up to
I
no,
10
never
like
thought of
I
that.
think they can.
cancer. Like, well, you're not covered because 10 years ago you were, But I mean, I don't know. That's just a supposition.
Yeah, no, I just don't think it's a good thing to have on your medical record. I mean,
That's
Yeah,
actually
I'll agree
really,
with that. Yeah.
yeah, that's real. I never thought of that. I must have great coverage because I never had a problem. I might, like I said,
honestly, my chart is horrible. It's really embarrassing to look at it, and I've never had any problems with coverage, luckily. But
yeah,
I
I could see
just
that.
when I see it, I just am like, shit. I wish I would have never told them that and had that on there because, anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
you never know. Either way, you're probably right. It's definitely not a great idea.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's, I
And there's
never thought
plenty
of
of
that.
options otherwise. And my wife actually just updated for anybody who cares. My wife just updated. It's only like $60 extra for LabCorp to come to your house.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
fucking
See,
great,
LabCorp is the
man.
more expensive one though.
And what website was that, Doug?
You just go to LabCorp, lifeextension.com to order the
Liveextension.com.
test. To order the test.
Yeah, or private
Okay.
MD.
Private
For
Yeah,
some
either
MD.
one of those.
reason, the male hormone panel, private MD labs, .com. For some reason, the hormone panel on that one, if you do it through Quest, it's like 189, and if you do it through LabCorp, it's like 499.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, it's like everything LabCorp is like 3 times the price.
Quest. Is that who we used last time? Was Quest or LabCorp, right? Well, when we finish this thing, let's go through and set up an order and get a screenshot so we can compare notes.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a question for you, Doug, because I know you work with Charles Glass. So this is one of the only workout training questions I have. And it's real simple. When a person has weak calves, what's the best way to grow calves?
Here's what I say about calves. You do 200 reps in as few sets as possible every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Train them every day.
Why?
200 reps.
Yeah.
I just picked that because it was like that lets you work up to like 2 sets of 100, which I think is just really important. You just want to go keep getting a stretch and a full contraction as many times in a row as you can until they're so full of blood you can't move them. and then take a little break and do it again. And so that's what I tell my clients: 200 reps and as few sets every day.
Why that muscle every day and every other muscle it's not every day?
Because you're walking all day long, and so it has a huge amount of endurance. And it's just, it's like forearms. They're designed that way. They get really sinewy, and I think that they get like they're because of that, the fibers are tighter. They don't get as much blood in them, which is why they don't get as pumped, why they don't grow. So you kind of have to really force it. I will also say you got to stretch them every day, because your knees will get fucked if they just get super, super tight all the time too. Like that'll cause a bunch of problems if they're too tight. So you kind of have to work them out and stretch them or massage them or something as well. That's been the best.
You get a table and you get a little lacrosse ball and sit down on your couch and put your leg on the table.
We got them all over the house.
What's fun is my forearms and my calves were never a problem. It's odd. They would always, my forearms and my calves always kind of grew. Not that I'm on your guys' level, don't get me wrong, but I've
never in my life trained forearms, not a single time.
Yeah, me too.
Really?
Yeah, never.
Okay.
Me too.
All right, cool. Next question. Accutane on cycle and acne within bodybuilding. I mean, what does he mean by that, Danny? Does he mean like basically how do you deal with
hard
acne?
On your liver. What's that?
How do you deal with acne?
I think he's saying, can you take Accutane when you're on a cycle?
Mm-hmm.
Which honestly, an Accutane cycle, I think it's only a few weeks, maybe a month.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not on orals, I would say it's fine. It's just a liver toxic drug. So that's why he's asking.
Okay.
And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then acne and bodybuilding. I don't know what the question is there. Maybe like does it affect? I mean, I think it'll affect your placing. I don't. It doesn't look good.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like he's kind of hinting to the fact that his acne because of gear. I feel like that's kind of what he's trying to ask.
Right.
What is it about gear that causes acne? I was always under two. Lack of a better term. That's okay. I was always under two logics, if you will, for lack of a better term, why acne happens. One, that the oil is shitty, and two, the fast acting test esters usually cause acne because of the up and down test levels in and out of your system. Does that sound accurate?
I think it's one of two things. I think for one, first off, it's your body doesn't like the other parts of the gear, like the oil, the lack of alcohol, or whatever else is in the gear. Like that's usually my first thought, is that it's just like dirty gear.
It's bad.
Right. Yeah. Okay. That's what I thought. Okay. All right. Next question. Best rep range and sets for building size in bodybuilding.
My favorite quote it's actually from just one of my training partners. He said, well, you just pick a weight that you can't do 10, and then you do 12.
That's great.
You just fucking go, like the body will tell you what it wants. You just got to train until it hurts every set. That's kind of my philosophy.
Yeah. What do you think, Danny?
I think it depends on the exercise. But I would say like in general, like 8 to 15.
Okay.
That's where most of the time falls.
But I the one thing, I like how Doug explained it, because not that I deal with guys like you do, not that I have clients, I don't, but when I speak to people and I say do between 8 and 15, it always becomes 8 and 15, between 8 and 15 with no stress. You know what I mean? It's they do 10 reps and then they go and I try to tell them, if you do 10 reps, make sure that you can't get the 11th.
Yeah.
But I like your definition better, Doug. I'm going to start using that. I'm going to say if you can't do it 10 times, make sure you do it 12. So that definitely going to start using.
Yeah.
All right. Last question. This is definitely the most interesting. Combating erectile dysfunction during a cycle. Now, okay. my first cycle when I was a kid, I was 23 years old. That happened to me, but I was only doing like, I think 300 milligrams of test. And I remember like it was yesterday, Dave Palumbo was doing a seminar in this gym in Queens. I forgot the name of the gym. I don't remember. So I went with my friend, right? And before he starts the seminar, we asked him some questions, and he goes, wait till after the seminar and I'll answer your questions on the side, because he didn't want to answer questions about gear during the seminar. So we waited and we talked and whatnot, and we bullshitting. So I asked him afterwards, and he told me the problem is you're taking in this much testosterone, your natural level is shutting down, and your whole body is working on this much. So what was funny is that there was like two schools of thought, right? His school of thought was just take a lot more. So when I asked him, he goes between 750 and 1,000. And then what happened was I talked to another trainer, and he said, take even less. If that's the case, like take a quarter of a cc of cypionate, like twice a week. If your test levels are that high and they're shutting down. But I always went with Dave Palumbo's theory. Just do a hell of a lot more. And I never had a problem after that.
Yeah, taking less, I don't think. Unless it's like an imbalance between you're taking too much DECA and not enough tests or too much, then I don't.
Good.
I feel like the same way. Like, obviously, that seems like a no-brainer. The one thing that I find interesting is I always find having too low of estrogen will also trash it. And so it's like you kind of got to keep that there as well. Like if you take too much Arimidex, my sex drive goes down the toilet. Like I'm just like, get the fuck away from me.
Yes, that has happened to me. Yes.
And so I think it's a balance, and it's just you combat it by if you can't get hard, there's something that should be figured out. And I'd probably say, let's get your blood work and see what's going on.
Right. But you're 100% right, man. I also remember I was doing 1 milligram of Arimidex every other day, and I had 0 sex drive.
Yeah.
And then I just started doing it like twice a week. And then all of it, like after about, I don't remember, 2 or 3 weeks, I jumped back to normal.
As a single man that's a bodybuilder, I would take 1 milligram of Arimidex a day intentionally so that my sex drive would be low and I could focus on other things besides, the tail running around at the gym. And
how much
I'm a trainer at Gold. So
yeah.
It's like when I would just, it's like, no, I need to work. I need to prep. I need to train. And so I would fucking.
How much test?
At that, let's see. I guess most of the time then I was like a 750 a week kind of guy.
Because at this point, I need like a milligram a day.
A milligram of test a day?
No. A milligram of Arimidex.
Arimidex a day. Yeah. Now I'm like 1,000 milligrams and 1,000 milligrams of test a week, and like 3 to 4 milligrams of Arimidex a week.
I basically just do 1 milligram of Arimidex. I take a shot twice a week of testosterone, and I just do the 1 milligram of Arimidex when I take the shot, and it works no problem. Here's the other thing. Like you said, Doug, if you really have a problem, then you need to go to what kind of doctor is it that checks it? Oh, Jesus.
Hormone doctor.
No. Holy shit.
Endocrinologist.
And they will, and there are so many ways to correct it today. It's not like 1960 and then you hit 50 years old and your dick doesn't work anymore. There is almost no reason why your dick doesn't get hard anymore. I mean, there's no reason why it shouldn't. Between Viagra, Cialis, and there's all these forms of Viagra and Cialis. There's liquid, there's gels, right? Then you have an injection that you could use. It's called a trimix injection. I mean, I think porno stars use it on set, which is why there are so many more male porno stars now than when I was a kid. When I was a kid, there was like 4 guys that were in every movie, and now there's like a gazillion of them. And then if
they give that to men with prostate cancer,
yeah. And then if times are really tough and for some fucking reason that doesn't work, you could literally get an implant.
And maybe if all of that stuff didn't work, you just don't really like the woman you're trying to sleep with.
Yeah, maybe she's just fat and ugly, and you're like, fuck this. I'm just gonna end on a funny note. I know we never do jokes on this one, but I take TRT, and I'll take like a half of Viagra, right, or whatever the case may be, and I'll feel like I'm 19. I'm like, oh shit, I feel 19, and then your body shows you you're not 19, you're 46 when you're finished, because there's no what's the word? There's no flight. It's basically like I don't get past the belly button anymore.
Yeah, you got no carry on that one.
Yeah. And I'm completely exhausted afterwards. Like I literally and I go, no, I'm 46. I'm not 19 anymore.
It's like
Anyway.
that Toby Keith song.
Yeah.
Good once as you ever were.
Gentlemen, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for doing this with me. And we will be together again recording on Wednesday night, where that topic for MD will be the stupidest shit people have done to put muscle on. Because I actually read an article. My wife sent it to me, that there was a TikTok influencer that said that he tried to eat dog food for the extra protein.
Oh my God.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if I believe that. Sounds like you're trying to get more views.
It doesn't matter, because it's a great topic, because there are some dumb motherfuckers out there that have done some dumbass shit.
Yeah, I got plenty. I'll be saving up a list.
All right, good.
There's a breast milk guy.
What happened?
Oh, yeah, I was just gonna say the breast milk guy.
The breast milk guy.
The breast milk guy.
I heard about that. Yeah, that's gonna be a good
TV.
show.
Yeah. I wonder if he'll ever show up at the Nationals or something. That'd be fucking awesome.
Oh God, unbelievable. Some of these guys are just insane. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. I will see you guys Wednesday night. Later.